It's been a while, guys. It's been a while. Welcome to Hockey Playoff Edition. This is the first episode of year 3 or 4, I believe, Hockey Edition, Playoff Edition. But I'm here with my guy Chris Babos. Chris, how's it going, man?
I can't complain. Awesome time in sports. You've got the NFL draft tonight. You've got all of the NHL and the NBA playoffs. As a hockey guy, I'm also trying to keep my eye on all of the junior prospects and the kids that are about to get drafted. Because it's another job that I do as a hockey scout. So I mean, it's a busy time of year, but it's absolutely lovely.
Oh yeah, man. We're grateful to be doing this, man. A lot of things going on. April and October, those are two of the best months when it comes to sports. But yesterday there were three games, Chris, and the first one, Canadiens versus the Capitals. Connor McMichael, he scored two goals for the Capitals. But one of the things that a lot of hockey fans are talking about today is that cross-check hit. A lot of
Yeah.
people, yeah, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, that's playoff hockey, baby. Obviously, you don't necessarily want to take lumber to the chicklets. But it's kind of how the game is played, unfortunately, in the NHL at times. And they've definitely one of the themes for the Capitals in this series is physicality. Alex Ovechkin had 7 hits in the first game. So I mean, really helping set the tone for his team, and a lot of that was even seen yesterday. It's been a very interesting series between the two clubs, just in Washington showcasing their physicality and their skill because they've got more depth than the Canadians. But then on the flip side, you've got a ton of young skill in Montreal that almost doesn't know they're not supposed to win. Um, and it's one of those things that youthful exuberance can be very exciting. And you watch out if Montreal captures game three and maybe game four up there in Canada, it's going to be an absolute series uh, for the rest of the first round between the two.
That crowd's gonna be rocking for sure over there in Montreal. And it has been an interesting series, very exciting. The crowd, man, without that crowd in the playoffs, I mean, it would just be dull. I mean, it was painful when we saw it in 2020. I saw you saw how important it was, how fans are
Hmm.
important, especially in the postseason. But man, when it's playoff time in hockey, there's nothing like it. So, but Alex Ovechkin, yeah, he did deliver a lot of hits in game one. And hockey fans, I mean, we like to see physicality. We like to see toughness, not this, oh, this feel good, touchy tough. No, we don't want that. We want physicality as long as it doesn't get too out of hand in the sense that somebody ends up getting
Hmm.
hurt and things like that. But the Capitals, I mean, what a year of difference it makes. Last year, they just barely scratched by, barely, they just made the playoffs at the end. And then this year, it's been a whole totally different story. It's been a magical season for the Capitals so far. And now they took care of business, games one and two at home. And now, as the series goes to Montreal, do you think that Montreal has a chance in game three?
I definitely do. The first two games of the series, out of the six periods, I'd say Montreal dominated two, maybe two and a half of the six periods. And a lot of the late games, as they've pressed to get their offense going in the third periods in these games, it's really been Logan Thompson for the most part and the Washington Capitals defense, but mainly Thompson shutting the door as he did last night. I think he had 33 saves, if I remember my post game, 25 saves last night. So it's just one of those things that Montreal is gonna need their core scoring forwards, as in your Nick Suzuki's, your Cole Caulfields, to get their goals. That is their scoring. They're gonna need a little more from their depth forwards, and that's what you're seeing a bit from Washington, where you have your Connor McMichaels chipping in. Dylan Strom scored yesterday. He's got, I think, 4 points out of the six that Washington has scored. And rightfully so. Everybody is focused on Ovechkin and everything Ovechkin brings to the table. Dylan Strome is an absolutely incredible story. Yeah, restricted free agent in Chicago, didn't get a contract. Read a story this morning, actually came out with a Players Tribune story. He was on the golf course and had a conversation with his agent and said, "Hey, Washington's offering 1 year." And he's like, I don't know about that." He's like, "Talk to your family." Talk to his family. His dad's like, "Great move." His brother, who was ahead of him on the golf course, was like, "You know what? Washington seems perfect for you." By the ninth hole, he had signed the contract. By the 18th hole, he was a Washington Capital. And it's amazing to see how that has all played out. And now he is the 1C for this team that has legitimate cup aspirations. Whether or not they're going to get to the Stanley Cup final, that's tough to say. Whether or not they're even going to get past Montreal, it's tough to say. But what Dylan Strom has done in Washington is nothing short of incredible.
I agree. Dallas versus Colorado. This is one of those matchups I'm on my radar to watch. I'm a fan of both teams. I like the way they both play, especially in the postseason. Tyler Seguin, he won it for the Stars in overtime. Colorado, they delivered more hits than Dallas, 46 to 34. Um, Dallas had more block shots than Colorado, 21 to 18. Both teams, they did a good job putting shots on goal, both with 28. So this was like a heavyweight fight when I saw this game in game two. It could have gone either way, but Dallas came out victorious, and now the series will go back to Dallas. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the biggest thing that Dallas could have done, they did, which was survive the early storm. For your viewers that might not know, Colorado Avalanche captain Gabe Landeskog hadn't played in 3 years, regular season playoffs, anything. Makes his return in game three in front of the home crowd at Ball Arena. Obviously, as you can imagine, massive amounts of cheers, all of the accolades. He's battled back for a long time. Really only played his first actual game of hockey, I want to say 2 weeks ago, or within the last 2 weeks when he played in the AHL for the Colorado Eagles. So it's been a long, long road for Landeskog to get back. Colorado scored at 8:09 of the first period. A great goal by Val Nichushkin. After that, though, Dallas really settled things in and limited Colorado's opportunities. And when you've got the offensive talent that Colorado is able to bring with your McCarrs, with your McKinnons, that's really what you got to do is limit those opportunities to score for Colorado. And Dallas was able to do that. If you've ever seen the meme with people taping open their eyelids, that was me last night. As that game goes to overtime at like I don't know 12:30 a.m. And I'm glad it ended at 5:30 the overtime as Sagan ended up with the game winner. I really thought Colorado was going to take that one. So in my sleep deprived, I was like, wait, who scored? Who won it? But yeah, it was a really good back and forth fight. And for anyone that might not be aware, if you didn't catch any of these games, NHL.com has a condensed video feature. You can basically watch every game in like 10 minutes. And it's a fantastic a way to kind of catch up on some of the playoff action you might have missed.
I'm glad you mentioned that because there's been many times that I had to do that myself. So great suggestion, Chris. Thank you for bringing that up. And last but not least, man, oh my God, Edmonton,
Yes.
Edmonton versus Los Angeles Kings for the fourth consecutive year. First round matchup. The Oilers have given it to them the first three. And usually the say goes three's a charm, but this could be a four is the charm for the Kings. The Kings, they won the first two games at home. And both of these games were interesting because both games the Kings jumped early, got into a comfortable lead. And once again, this is Edmonton getting off to a slow start. In game two, going down three zip in the game. Then they scored two goals in a row, and the Kings fans are thinking, oh boy, here we go again, just like game one. But this time the Kings did not um lose poise. They kept their foot on the gas. Adrian Kempe, he had two goals, two assists. Antti Kopitar, he had a goal and three assists. And Quinn Byfield, he scored once again. He scored in game one. He scored in game two again. But Edmonton is cold red, I would say, because this is a Kings team that you do not want to sleep. And after watching that game one, even though they won game one and they was blew it at home, but I thought to myself, the Kings, um, they're gonna give Edmonton a real run for the money this time. This fourth time in a row, this is a rival. They can't stand them. Why? They've lost the last 3 years in the first round. And all these four straight years in the first round have been competitive. No lopsided, has been real competition. But the Kings are saying, not this time, not this time. And now we have to see how Edmonton will respond for game three as the series will go back to Edmonton. But clearly, obviously, Edmonton has been dealing with durability issues as we see it. So, but I will say right now it is cold red for Edmonton right now.
Yeah, it needs to be the year for the Kings to get past the Oilers. Fourth year in a row, first year they've ever had the home ice advantage against Edmonton, which is massive. And that's important just for momentum swings, and how games play out in real time. Having that home ice advantage, having those players behind you, getting that little swell of momentum after you kill off a big penalty, at home. Those things matter. So it's one of those things that it's interesting. One of the things with Edmonton that really intrigues me, and you hear it a lot more in football than you hear in hockey, which is the Super Bowl hangover or the championship hangover. Edmonton went to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. They played a lot of hockey games and they had to battle because if you remember last year, it was not an easy season. They were behind the eight ball in December, made a glorious run all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Then this year, you try to battle back knowing what the goal is, knowing you need to get back there. And while they won 48 games this year, uh, I'd have to think it was a bit of a disappointment for Edmonton. Yes, they're in the playoffs, but it's a tough matchup, and health's obviously going to be a big portion of things. But I don't know. I've always really struggled with how Stuart Skinner is the option in net in Edmonton, especially with the talent that you have there. But this is why I'm not an NHL GM.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
one
Stuart
one
Skinner
of one of the reasons, one of the reasons.
is not easy. It's not easy. Winning is hard. Winning is hard. Being in the GMC, the owner seat is hard because so many decisions, so many things that goes behind it.
Mhm.
Us fans, we tend to look at it like making it seem like, oh, we could do a much better job than this person. Stuart Skinner, he's just one of those players that he'll make you smile, but at the same time, he'll make your head scratch at any given moment. So,
I knew it would never happen because the Battle of Alberta between Edmonton and Calgary. But man, if somebody like Markstrom would have landed in Edmonton and just solidified that position, I'd be a lot more weary than I would be of Edmonton as they sit right now. I have the Kings winning this one, and I think it was 6 or 7. I really do think they get it done this year and start to ask some really tough questions in Edmonton, you know.
if Edmonton loses the series to the Kings, there will be some very, very, very serious questions. A lot of decisions had to be made because you were one win away from winning the cup. Although it was impressive, you were down 3, but you were one win away from winning it. You signed Leon Draisaitl to that extension.
Hmm.
This season has been a roller coaster. That's the best way I could put it. You have durability issues. You have Evander Kane, who might come back in the series, from what I've been hearing. But if you're the Kings, you have to take advantage this year. This is your fourth
Absolutely.
try. This is your fourth try. You're up 2-0. So, and if the Kings want to win the series, they're gonna have to take one in Edmonton. Obviously, they had to.
Oh yeah. The bigger concern for Edmonton too is there's no first round picks coming for them. They traded
Yep.
2025 and 2026 and their 2025 second rounder. So there's not a whole lot of high end assets that they have, that they can move to improve the club. But yes, with the LA Kings, it's really going to start in net with Darcy Kemper. That's why they assigned him to be the starting netminder. He's a goalie I liked watching when he was in Washington, but I never fully trusted him as a number one. And unfortunately on the West Coast, I don't get to catch a ton of Kings games, but he's definitely played admirably in the little bit that I've gotten to watch. Adrian Kempe, again, West Coast bias, I think is one of the more underrated players in the league across the board. He's just absolutely phenomenal, but nobody really gets to watch him, generally speaking, anyway. And then LA's got one of my favorite players. He only spent maybe 2 weeks in Philadelphia, Andrei Kuzmenko. Came over from Calgary in the Joel Farabee and Morgan Frost trade. Got flipped to LA at the trade deadline for a third round pick in 2027. I had the chance to talk to him. One of my favorite guys I've ever interviewed. He was telling me in the break between four nations, he was in Mexico. He was training, and there wasn't any ice. He was doing dry land beach training and just keeping himself in shape. Because keep in mind, he had visa issues, so he hadn't played. I think he played one game in about 3 weeks after the trade. And when I got to talk to him and be like, "Hey, how you approaching coming back?" He's like, I'm ready to get back to my lovely job. Like I love playing hockey. I'm ready to just get back to focusing on hockey and playing my job in it. And you could feel the joy that he has. And then you see some of the pictures coming out of the playoffs in Edmonton and the absolute just emotion on his face, being able to celebrate some of those big Kings goals. Absolutely phenomenal to see. And especially as fans, it's very easy to forget that these are human beings playing these important sports and being able to have that one-on-one interaction. And it's a good reminder that these are very well paid gentlemen, but they're gentlemen just like the rest of us.